بعد اذنك بس.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم
السلام عليكم.
Alaikum salam. So as you see, guys, we started this question and we said the definition of definite integral. It's here. A equals the limit as n approaches infinity of summation I equals 1 to n delta xi f of xi, and the closed interval from A to what? To B. Okay. So the function x squared and 0 to 3, and we did the first step by finding the integral from 0 to 3 for x squared, and gonna give us here 9. Gonna give us what? 9. You know how? What's the integral of x squared? Is x cubed over 3, x cubed over 3, and then plug in 3 for x first, and minus plug in 0 for x, and then find or evaluate. You can do it also in the calculator, and your answer is 9. By using the definition of definite integral up here, a equals the limit n approaches infinity, summation I1 to n, f of xi delta xi. You have to find these first, اللي هم delta x وال xi from what? From right. xi equal, or x sub I equals a plus delta xi. The a is 0 plus 3 over ni, so x sub I is 3i over n. Now, the limit as n approaches infinity of the summation of I equals 1 to n, ومشينا عادي وعملنا substitute. Right?
Yes,
okay, guys. What's the mistake here? Mistake that we did all correct. We did this step correct, but when I copy here the final step, I take it without power 2. Do you see this power 2?
Yes, yes.
I copy it up here with no power 2. كان في مشكلة. So we have to cancel all this here. Have to cancel it. So let me only to cancel this slide. And here is the previous one. And cancel this also. Yes, and let's continue. What's that? Yes, so the final step is the limit as n approaches infinity. Yes, it's the limit, as n approaches infinity of 27 over 6, 27, and this all over what? 6, into 2n squared plus 3n plus 1, 2n squared plus 3n plus 1, and this all over n square. كان المشكلة إن إحنا نسينا السكوير. Okay, equal. The limit as n approaches infinity of 27 over 6, and divide now. 2n squared divided n squared is 2, and divide 3n by n squared equals 3 over, I'd like to hear
3 over n.
3 over n.
Plus 1 over n squared.
N squared. Yes, so
3 over n and 1 over n squared will be cancelled because it's infinity.
Excellent. Based on this fact, we said in the previous session, the first session today, we said إن أصلا أخذناه في first term إن limit as n approaches infinity of c over n equals 0. يعني c هنا constant, يعني like 5 over n, as n approaches infinity, 5 over infinity is 0. So that's why we can say 27 over 6 as a constant, and then take the limit as n approaches infinity for 2 plus the limit as n approaches infinity for 3 over n plus the limit as n approaches infinity for 1 over n squared. This all multiplied by 27 over 6. This all will be cancelled or equal to 0 based on the fact we said now. يطلع لك 27 in the next step over 6, the limit as n approaches infinity of 2. What's the limit of any constant? Gives you the same
The
constant.
constant. 77 over 6 multiplied by 2
Equals what?
9.
9. Yes. Let's compare it here with the answer, with the previous answer here. Let's compare it with my previous answer, which is 9.
Also this.
From one step only, we can find, with using your calculator, you can find here your answer simply and easily by using this formula. A equals the integral from 0 to 3x squared dx, and then plot it and plug it in the calculator, you're gonna get 9 directly. Let's do one more example here. Let's do one more example by using
طب مستر عندي سؤال، ليه السمشن هنا بيجيب الاريا بالظبط؟
Yes, what's the difference between here?
احنا كنا في اللي فات بنعمل السمشن من ليفت ومن رايت وبعدين الميد بوينت، وكانت اقرب واحده للميد بوينت. طب ليه هنا السمشن بيجيب الاكزاكت اريا؟
Where is the rule? Here's the rule, right? The summation from
Yes.
right one. What's the reason? Because we have exact I بيعمل ماكس ليها وبيكنسل البارتس اللي هي فوق الكيرف. You know, when you graph here, where is the graph? We didn't graph it here. When you graph any one of them from right or from left, from right, for example, or from left, let's graph one of them. If we graph this one, and here is the function is x cubed, and you know x cubed is like this, right? So I'm gonna take only this part of the positive part of x to the power of 3, because you would like to find the area between, for example, yeah, 9 informal graph quickly. So when you graph it here, 1.5 طلع لي 1134 using the left endpoints what rule? Here is the points, which is 3, then 4.5, and then 6, and then 7.5, and then 9. From the left, you'll find that here is the points مثلا
اوفر استيميت،
بعدين connect هتلاقي over estimate ولا under estimate؟ under, because the exact is 1600.
لو من ليفت اندر، لو من رايت اوفر.
Underestimate, yes. So underestimate means that all your rectangles is below what you will find, that all your rectangles below. هنا اعتقد في الفورمولا اللي انت بتستعملها الان, this one, that you take in approaches to infinity, which is delta max or max of delta x, the max of delta x, where it's here in the formula. Yes, a function f is said to be integrable on a finite closed interval ab if the limit of max delta x approaches to 0. فهو بيتجاهل الفروقات اللي هي بتطلع لك فوق تحت الايه الكيرف، بيطلع مثلا في مع الريكتانجلز، اوكي، بيطلع فيه فروقات هنا شايفها دي، هو بيتجاهلها هنا باخده للليميت. That's why it's more accurate. اوكي. اما طبعا هي ليه كانت اوفر استيميت اور اندر استيميت؟ لان لو اوفر استيميت معناها ان في gaps above the curve you are finding the area
above the curve.
ده لو اوفر. لو اندر استيميت تلاقي في
استيميت
gaps،
ما خدش الجابس اللي هي
ما خدش الحاجات دي، اللي هو بقى شالها ازاي؟ شالها بالليميت as max delta x approaches 0. Okay. Yes, let's solve here, guys, the first example. Or you would like to take one more example of this way? No, let's start. Let's لا نبدأ الليسن عشان نخلص. Here in the lesson, example number 1, you would like, guys, to evaluate the integral using an appropriate formula from geometry. يعني here we have to move, and you know that y equals 2, يعني the function is 2, and we know that 2 is a horizontal line passes through 2, right? So I would like also to find the area under this line from 1 to 4. حلو. From 1 to 4. So what do you see, guys, in figure A? What shape, what geometric shape you see here?
Square. لا, rectangle.
It's rectangle. So because it's a rectangle, and we know that area of rectangle.
Length times width.
Yes. So what's the length?
2 and the width 4.
1 2 3. خلي بالك. 3. Okay. Times what's
بدل
the
من 1
width? The width
times
is 2. So my answer is 6. This is one way. Because طبعا الفيجر اللي معايا او تحت الكيرف كان ريجولار من الفيجرز المشهورين في الجيومتري اللي عندها رول سهل تجيب له الاريا بتاعته. Okay, so how to do it using the integral? One, we can estimate also here, and we can also use the definite integral definition that we used right now في the previous example. بس خلينا نشتغل على السريع بالاي equal ونجيب الانتجرال عادي. What's the integral of 2? 2x and then from 1 to 4. 1 to 4 يعني نعمل substitute 4 first for x يعني
2 times 4 minus 2 times 1
2 times 1
يعني 8 minus 1 7 لا 8 minus 2
minus 2 which is what? 6. So it's the same. It's the same as the previous answer using a geometry or area of rectangle since we have a rectangle here. The next figure, what do you see in the next figure guys?
We can make triangle and rectangle.
Or
نعمل
we
horizontal
can
line.
أو trapezoid.
حلو تقدر تقول عليه trapezoid. طبعا what's the area of the trapezoid? The area of the trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2
base 2 over 2.
2 multiplied by height. Base 1 times base 2. Where is base 1? Here is base 1. Where is base 2? Here is base 2. Okay?
طيب والهايت؟
ما بين base 1 و base 2.
The height is the line segment that passes through one or connecting the two bases, and it's perpendicular to the base.
making the right angle.
So how to find this height? How many units from -1 to 2, right? Which is ادي 1 يعني انا مشينا هنا 1 unit 2 units
3 units.
3 units. So the height is 3, so the area equals base 1 اللي قلنا عليها B2 كم؟ من 2 till 4 اللي هو F of 2. 4 right؟
B2 4.
ماشي و B1 بكم؟ 1 plus 4 is all over 2 multiplied by الهايت اللي قلنا عليه ب 3. 1 plus 4 is 5 over 2.5
15 over 2 7.5
7.5 ده كده geometrically right?
Yes.
Let's move back here to the same question and طبعا اصلا الفانكشن اللي انت مرسومه هنا عندك في letter B هي
y
x
equal x plus 2
plus 2. طب let's integrate here x plus 2 to find the area under this curve x plus 2 of the line x plus 2.
x square over 2 plus 2x.
Add 1 and divide by the new exponent plus 2x.
وبعدين take
from -1 to 2.
2 squared يعني 4 over 2 أو 2 squared over 2.
We
to
will
be
plug
clean.
in 2 first which is 2
squared over 2 plus 2 times 2
كده انت اشتغلت على 2 بس
minus 1 لا minus 1 squared negative 1 squared over 2
1 minute please I'd like to write it down عشان بس يجيب مساحة لدرسي. So minus open parentheses we have -1 to the power of 2 and this over 2 plus 2 times -1 وده we're doing guys احنا بنشتغل على ال upper limit of the integration plug it first and then minus the second.
Yes.
And if you
So
like
4
to
over
ask
2
us guys 4 over 2 here is 2 plus 4 is
4 6
6
minus half minus 2 half minus 2 يعني 1 and a half negative
1 and a half times
لا positive 1 and a half وماينس برا. لا negative صح
اهو it's negative here 1.5
yes
كل ده
negative وبرا في negative sign
so positive 3 over 2 or positive 1.5 and 6 which is 7.5 The next question letter C from 0 to 1 the integral of radical 1 minus x squared dx. طبعا here guys we will not be able to integrate this first مش عشان هي مالها integration it has but the way we're gonna integrate here this function is not يعني possible right now لسه قصدي هتاخدوها بعدين okay it's called the trigonometric substitution we have to let dx as a sine theta and then solve okay but the helpful graph here or this figure C gonna help us to find the area quickly.
This quarter circle.
Quarter
صح؟
circle, and you know that
يعني
area,
1/4 pi r
area of
square.
circle by r squared يا man, right? And
أيوة,
it's a
over
quarter
4.
circle over 4.
والradius
So it's
ب1.
the radius is 1, bravo, all squared over 4. So your area
Pi
is pi over 4. This is the area. But we will not be able to do it right now because we have to solve using a trig substitution. And your answer, we're including theta. That's why the answer is pi over 4. You have to let this x a sine theta and then use trig substitution. If you use substitution way by letting u equal x squared, you still have x. Okay, so my answer is pi over 4. Any questions? Let's move on to the next example. But I would like to do
Can you go
letter
back
A.
to the last question? Yes, بس الطريقة الثانية.
Yes, here is by using integral or definite integral, and here by using the geometry.
عيد letter C definite integral.
ما عملناهاش different أصلا.
You will not be able to do it here.
ما
as
عملنا،
definite
لازم ناخذ
integral.
التريك differentiation وما
Yes.
أخذناه.
You will let x equals
okay,
a
خلاص. Okay, yes.
sine theta. You'd like to do it يعني؟ تشوفها وخلاص.
لا مستر، هذا أهبل، بس سيبك منه.
طب اعملها يا مستر، خلينا نشوف.
Okay. X equal a sine theta, right?
Yes.
You will let this x equal a sine theta. Yes, and then you will find طبعا dx. So what is a here? The a squared minus x squared.
إيش؟
يعني we have 3 roots أو 3 shapes أو 3 formulas. في
Yes.
لما تشوفهم مثلا one you have to let x equal a sine theta when it's radical 1 minus x squared. Okay, but when it's 1 plus x squared, it should be a cosine theta. And when you have radical 1 minus x squared over radical 1 plus x squared, I think plus واحدة plus واحدة minus, you have to use tan theta and so on. So I don't remember exactly what you should use. I think maybe sine. When you let a here is 1. The a is 1, which is the square, a squared minus x squared. So x equals sine theta. So what is x squared?
Sine
squared theta. Right, what is dx from this step? Dx over d theta equals
sine square.
The derivative of sine, which is cosine theta. D theta always we cancel it from here and write it in the right hand side.
power 2.
What power 2? أنا بعمل derivative
للx
لهذا الستep. Derivative from this step, not from x squared.
اوكي.
ده عشان لما أبدل الx squared أبدلها بسine squared. So from 0 to 1 radical 1 minus
cosine theta
squared theta, and replace it here as a cosine theta d theta, which is
cosine
dx.
theta over du.
You should replace أو change برضه limits. how يعني؟ ده كان 0 1 for x. يعني when x is 0, which you know that x equals sine theta.
Yes.
When x is 0, sine theta, and then find theta. Theta equals sine inverse of 0. وطلع لي الانجل
90
and
يعني.
then do it again.
90 ولا كم؟ Yes.
No, not 90.
45 0 90 واحدة.
0. Okay. It's 0 or pi كده. سناخد 0. So theta is equal to 0. يعني لما تكون الاكس ب0 هي برضه الثيتا بايه؟ ب0. برضه x sine theta and then substitute 1 for x and then find the angle I'll find the theta here, inverse sine of 1, and then theta equals the inverse sine of 1, I think it's pi over 2. فالآن بتغير ال limits of integration من 0 to 1 تحولت ل 0 to pi over 2 لأن هذا for x. الأول خالص كان for x. Now for theta. From 0 to pi over 2 for 1 minus sine squared theta times cosine theta d theta. 1 minus sine squared كم؟ cosine squared. And then 0 to pi over 2 root cosine squared using identity times cosine x bar d theta. Cancel out the squaring with the root and multiply again cosine by cosine gives a cosine squared theta d theta. And then as we did before, guys, as we did before, the integral of cosine squared theta d theta طبعا تقدر from 0 to pi over 2 تقدر تحولها إلى إيه؟ 1 half plus 1 half cosine to theta d theta, right? And then find the integral. The integral of half is half theta plus the integral of half cosine to theta is half sine to theta and this all over 2 plus c. لا ما في c هنا، فيه evaluation من 0 لحد pi over 2. وابدا اعمل ايه؟ substitution. يعني half theta يعني half times pi over 2 يعني pi over 4, right? plus 1 half عندك sin 2 theta يعني sin pi negative sin pi 0. يبقى this all 0, so it's pi over 4. Pi over 4 minus, when you substitute 0 gives what? Sin 0. Half 0 يعني half, sorry يعني 0 plus half sin 0. Sin 0 is
0 برضه.
0. Sin 0 0 خلاص
المفروض
يبقى
تبقى
it's
0
pi
يعني
over
pi over
4. يبقى the same as we did here. Thank you Mr. صح؟ صحيح ولا لا؟ Yes.
لا صحيح.
It's pi over 4. This is called the trick substitution. حلو افتكرتها صح. انا كنت خايف ان انا اكون بس ناسي ان هي 1 minus x squared هي ال a sin theta because لو it's plus you have to use a cosine theta وكده هناخدها بالتفصيل ان شاء الله في
مستر عادي تعيد
المستقبل.
عادي تعيد اللي هي ترسي.
نعم.
علينا دلوقتي بس يا رضوان جيومتري.
شوف شباب which part رضوان you like to understand again؟
مستر انا يا اخي لما اشوف ساين وكوساين بصير بتلخبط.
شوف هذا ايه يعني زي ما نقول additional
أشياء.
information today. يعني كده هناخد الليسن هذا بالتفصيل.
طب خلاص لكن
The
لسن
important
الجاي.
thing you have to know about letter C now is this figure. How to use geometry
هاي
to
سهلة يا
find
مستر.
طبعا الكوارتر سيركل easy. فاحنا كنا بنعمل زي مثلا verifying that using integration gives the same value. Using geometry
لا هاي
gives
سهلة
the
يا
same.
مستر.
بس بالintegration you have to use the trick substitution. عايزنا نعيدها ما عنديش اي مشكلة بس
لا خلاص دام هناخدها يا مستر
طيب.
بالتفصيل. نستنى للسنة الجاي.
ماشي. عندك letter A حاول تحلها معايا كده by integration.
هو ما فيش صورة؟
انت مضيع، ارجع على اول هذا بتلاقي الصوت.
integrate عادي. what's the integral؟ evaluate عادي.
صار هو مش لاقي السكرين شير، هو
screen
مش
share؟
مبين يعني.
لا he's asking about this
انت
figure. يحتاج figure like this one اعتقد.
رضوان
في عبد الرحمن
سحب تكتيكيا يا مستر.
الو.
okay so from
انا
0 to 2
انا عامل ميوت.
x minus 1 and then dx.
دي اكس.
yeah.
طيب.
the integral of x عادي add 1 and divide by the new exponent.
ايه بتصير اكس سكوير اوفر 2.
minus integral
بعدين
1
ماينس
is
اكس
x
اوفر بس.
from 0 to 2 ما تحطش plus c هنا from 0 to 2.
ما نحط
then
بلس سي. طيب.
substitute 2 for x.
بتصير 2 سكوير اوفر 2 ماينس 2
and then
بس.
minus bracket تاني substitute by 0 is
طيب بتصير
0.
0 كلها.
طيب
فبتصير 4 اوفر 2 2 ماينس 2 بتصير 0 ماينس 0.
0.
تمام. هي 0 ماينس 0 0.
yes يعني the area is 0.
نو.
no.
طب شوف في شيء غلط.
Yes, again, let's do it again. We have x squared over 2 minus x.
سكويرد.
Okay. Squared.
طب 2 سكويرد 4 مع over 2
4
2
over
minus
2
2
minus 2 0. Okay, and
يعني
here
0 يا
0
مستر.
also. Yes, why 0? في حاجة not correct in this question.
سر
Would like-
شكلكم نسيتوا السكوير، في سكوير على أو دقيقة.
هذا مش
لا
square
أنتوا
يعني.
عملتوا لها expand.
0 from
يس
مستر أنتوا عملتوا expand للبراكت.
أو يعني expand. لا هو مش باور 2 يعني expand، معناه إن أنا substitute from.
أوكي هي مش باور 2 أصلا هي. أوكي.
مستر طيب يعني
أكيد نو اريا 0 يعني between 0 and 2.
في حاجة في بالي يا مستر بس مش عارف دي صحيحة ولا لا.
روح.
لما عملت سكتش للجراف كده بسرعة.
أيوه أنا عامل سكتش يلا.
فهو واخد من 0 to طيب
1 minute
وأنا
please.
عملت سكتش
من 0 to 2 1.
نعمل سكتش طب للجراف.
شغال انا بعمل سكتش. يلا اكس ماينس 1 يعني you have a line
يعني هنا
just
كده
one.
ونعمل خط سريع كده منه.
yes and passes through 1 right.
نيجاتيف 1.
ما هو عندك y intercept نيجاتيف 1 صح؟ هذه نيجاتيف
أيوه.
1 y intercept and the slope is 1 over 1 يعني rise up 1 unit left right 1 unit rise up 1 unit and so like this. مثلا لو عملنا كونكت لللاين للبوينتس قصدي يطلع لنا اللاين ده تقريبا.
طيب
هو محتاج الاريا. ها
اللي انا بقوله يا مستر ان من 0 ل 1 هو واخد اريا من هنا ومن 1 2 واخد اريا، فانا شايف ده بيكنسل ده يا مستر.
ده بيكنسل ده.
او كده دخلنا حاجه تانية.
ايوه حاجه تانية اللي هي below the x-axis and above the x-axis. انت قصدك كده ما بيكنسلوش بعض. ان في 2 areas المفروض نجيب كل واحده لحالها ونعمل لهم بلس. اللي عملناها مره واحده بتطلع 0 زي ما انت شايف. اوكي
كنت قريب.
يس اوكي تعال نجيب الاريا اللي هي the blue one. I think it's bounded between 0 and 1. So we can write it as from 0 to 1.
to 1.
So we can solve it.
Then plus.
We can solve it with our way.
From 1 to 2. What?
We can solve it our way.
This way or the other
like
way?
The normal way.
The normal way approximation.
Yes, the one that we use. This is the easiest one.
Yes.
We can't use it.
طبعا انت عندك many ways بس انت بتشوف الاسهل الان بعد ما خلصنا كل الويز انت بتشوف الاسهل. طبعا if you do it هيطلع لك 0 مفيش اريا بالايه.
مستر حتى اذا عوضنا ب1 يمكن حتطلع 0.
ليه؟ It's a right triangle. Geometrically, what is the base? It's 1 and the height is 1. So the area of this triangle is half BH and half times 1 times 1 which is half. And the area of the yellow triangle is half. The area of the green triangle, it's equal to A equal 1 over 2 times also
2.
How 2?
لا
البيز 1 يعني times 1 times what also 1 لأن طبعا I'm gonna move 1 up 1 right and 1 up 1 right, so it's 1 here the height of this green triangle. So it's a half and half. يعني أنت معاك half تحت اللي هو yellow triangle وهاف تاني للتراينجل ده half and half. فاهمين؟ يطلع quarter. المفروض your answer is not 0, it should be quarter. تمام. طب ازاي نطبق الكلام ده على integration from 0 to 1 for the same function? But listen carefully. The same line, right? X minus 1. X minus 1. And here x minus 1 also. And then integrate. It's x squared over 2 minus x. And plus here x squared over 2 minus x. But here from 0 to 1 and here from 1 to what? To 2. We have 1 over 2 minus 1. نعمل substitution. 1 first. Plug in 1 first for x يكون 1 over 2 minus 1 which is negative half plus 0 طبعا it will be 0 فمش هكتبها. نروح على السكند 1 اللي هو البارت ده وابدا اعمل substitute for 2 and 1. When substituting 2 gives 4 over 2, which is 2 minus 2, 0, right? As we said, it's 0. But here, minus, when you plug 1 again, gives a half. Pay attention, please. Gives 1 half minus 1. And 1 half minus 1 gives a negative half, but times the negative here gives what? Positive half. So negative half. The first one is negative half. And the second one is what? Positive half?
يبقى 0.
يبقى 0 also. Yeah, no. في sign غلط.
قلت لك يا مستر.
يبقى this one it should be negative عشان في واحدة below the x-axis and the one is above the x-axis. Yes.
أنا بقول إنهم بيكنسلوا بعض.
No, مش بيكنسلوا بعض. This one is half and half يعني quarter. It should be quarter. It should be quarter, not 0. هي half and half.
أنا ما حسيت إنك
اللعب
مستر
في
مش قلنا
الساينس.
half plus half يا مستر؟ المفروض 1 مش كوارتر ولا إيه؟
لا أول واحدة
لا في الأول
تكون half. negative
لما
half.
جبناها جيومتريكلي عادي يا مستر. قلنا هاف
geometrically
تريانجل وهاف تريانجل وهاف
it's a
بلس
quarter.
هاف 1 مش
It's
بكوارتر.
1. No, not quarter. Okay, it's 1. I'm sorry. سوري it's 1. تمام it's 1. طيب هنا ليه تطلع 0 تاني؟ لازم في ساين غلط عشان برضه يطلع لك السمشن اوف هاف اند هاف it's 1. يبقى بس الايه المشكله فين؟ في الساين. في ساين فيكون نيجاتيف هاف بس هي from 0 to 1 هذا below the x-axis, so it should be negative here and the other one will be positive, so negative positive half plus half is 1. Again, it is this. نعبيك.
أنا ما حضرت النيجاتيف فطلعت معي 0 يا مستر. عشان هيك قلت لك
لا.
تطلع 0.
لا لأن الاريا below the x-axis.
تمام.
اوكي فيكون في نيجاتيف بس هنا مولعين النيجاتيف عشان خاطر هي تحت مثلا اكس اكسس فيكون اتس نيجاتيف هاف وبعدين في نيجاتيف بره فتكون بوزيتيف هاف ماينس this is minus احنا بنعمل بلس بس ده يطلع برضه بنيجاتيف هاف so your answer is positive half so هيعملوا بلس يطلع 1. It's geometrically correct and the integration yes, but I will make sure guys of يعني I will bring for you the rule لما يكون الاريا below and above the x-axis sure لازم يكون في negative عشان الدايركشن. اوكي طيب here from 0 to 1 حتى هو اداك هنا letter B from 0 to 1 which is what تطلع ب 1 over 2. اداك letter B برضه الريزن اللي هي example 2 which is 1 over 2. You can check this guys, I don't have the book right here. It's example 2. Example 2. أيوة.
طب Mr. I have a question طيب. I know you Mr. explained it but I didn't get it يعني. What's the role of integration here يا Mr.? Why do we integrate أصلا in the first place?
In the first what?
In the first place يعني why do we integrate to find the area? I didn't get that point.
انت بتسأل ليه تعمل integrate to find the area بدل geometrically مثلا؟
يعني integration على الجراف بيبقى شكله ازاي يعني بيعمل ايه؟
يعني يجيب لك الاريا under this line او between this line and the x-axis under the curve. طب let's try guys نفس الكويستشن او خلاص خلينا ممكن كنت عايز احله بالابروكسيميشن اللي اخذناه يعني الابروكسيميشن the area left والاريا right وكده والاريا mid point. So here is the graph and as you know it's a line passes through like this, right? So we have two parts here, this part and this part. But before we start, open your page, your book page. I think كم معاك يا شباب؟ no one طبعا معاك كتاب.
I usually rely on the slides. I'll go get my book.
Okay, check it here. You have it PDF. If you don't have guys the book, you can tell me. I can send it for you. It's PDF. class, let's see. يلا. You would like to check that's the answer of example 2, how he plugged the signs. Is it minus or not? Chapter 4.
It's chapter 4.
Chapter 4, lesson 4. Lesson, no.
So the answer in the book is 0.
Yeah, it's here. The answer here for example 2. One is 0 and the other one is negative half.
Yeah.
No. The graph, as you see it, guys, the graph is here. I think that I took this graph here. لا شلته كنت حاطه. طيب. In figure 4.5.5 you have two areas, area 1 and area 2. The graph of y is shown وكده. طيب. Verify that the shaded triangle regions have area of half over the interval 0 to 2. The net signed area is A1 minus A2. Half minus half is 0. This is the net area because one of them cancels the other. And over the interval 0 to 1, the net signed area is negative half. Okay, so the first is 0. Okay, and the second is negative half. The net signed area between the graph of them, yes. Here's 0, 0. And not 1. The net signed area. Okay. بس هو اتكلم ان الثانيه دي تكون نيجاتيف هاف. y negative half x squared over 2 minus x from 0 to 1. And then it's a half minus 1, which is negative half. Yeah, logically, بس في اللوجيك كده, what's the area that it's negative half? Do you see area قبل كده negative half? Do you see area is 0? So to find it, guys, we have to flip it here like this. اللي هو if مثلا لو من A ل B ممكن تخليها من A ل B أو العكس من B ل A and change the sign. This is one property. And if A is in the domain of A, we define A to A طبعا بزيرو. دي in only one case إنها تطلع من زيرو, ما فيش area أصلا. من A ل A يعني مثلا من 0 ل 0 أو من 1 ل 1 دي area. يبقى it's زيرو. بس خلينا نشوف in section, it depends on section what. معتمدة معاك على section 4.4. The previous section كان مديك النت اريا. طيب شباب, عشان ما خدتوش هوم ورك بس الحصه خلصت, محتاج بس تحلوا ال exercises from number. هذه number 3. It's gonna be also you have to subtract the two areas together. فاهم يعني find the area for this figure and the area of this triangle لحاله and then subtract them واعمل integrate and compare the two answers. And something that's related with what we studied today من أول اليوم اللي هو هذا الquestion.
Which questions?
Question number 3.
انا بعد صورت نمبر 3. انا ببعت على الجروب.
لا خذوا سكرين شوت.
صورت يعني.
بس empty page. I would like to write this question also. خذوا بس اكتبوه and do it by this formula. A equal limit n approaches infinity for the summation of delta x I f of x I. This is the question. نشتغل على الفانكشن f of x equal okay 5x minus 2 in the closed interval 1 and 3 by using this formula. The limit as n approaches infinity of the summation I equals 1 to n of delta xi times f of xi by using it the same way as we did here. So take a screenshot here. وابعت لكم الفايل كامل الآن. ماشي؟ بعته لكم على الجروب. اوكي يا شباب؟ يلا.
السلام عليكم يا أستاذ.